Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do my labor and delivery story because it's a little crazy and I kind of like telling it, so I decided I would tell it and share with everyone. I just want to start off by saying that I did have a high-risk pregnancy. I had low amniotic fluid from about 20 weeks on, and so I had to go to the hospital and get sonograms every week. I think I went twice a week at first, and then I went every week, if I remember correctly. It's fun seeing Odin twice a week. It just sucked because I had to be in there for like concern. I had to be in there because of the concerns that they had for me and for my baby. Let's start on July 10th. Andrew and I had gone out to eat, and just like a local restaurant here, and I used to work there, so I knew everyone, and like we were like just eating our dinner, and I was seeing people that I knew, and by this time I was 35 weeks along. So on July 10th, I thought that I was having Braxton Hicks contractions. My tummy would get hard. I don't know, they were not painful, you guys, like no pain whatsoever. I just had like tightness in my belly is what really was, like just every like 5 minutes. I started timing it because it was just like so frequent. So Andrew started to get a little concerned because they were probably around 5 to 7 minutes apart, but I was like, I'm not even in pain. Like when I heard about labor, I heard it was like the worst experience ever. Not the worst experience, but like the most painful thing a woman's gonna feel. I mean, besides the giving birth part, but it's just so painful, and I've seen my friends in labor, and I was just like, oh my god, like this cannot be labor. That night they kind of like went away, so I was like, oh, those were probably Braxton Hicks. Like there's nothing, it's not a big deal. Like
pause.
The night they stopped, so I wasn't too concerned. The next day we had planned on going to Kansas City, so we went to Kansas City, which is an hour from here. And I don't know if you guys know Kansas City, but there's Legend, like an outlet mall, so it's outdoors, like you kind of have to walk a lot. And we were walking around, and I was kind of feeling like this was July 12th, by the way. I was kind of feeling like my tummy was getting tight again. Towards the end, we were probably there for a few hours. Towards the end, like going home, my tummy was just getting tight again. I was like, oh my god, like I am just uncomfortable. I just like want to lay down. So when I got home, Andrew was like, hey, can I go hang out, like have some drinks with my friends? And I was like, yeah, you know, go. I'm just gonna lay down, like I'm just not feeling too well. And he was like, just text me if anything changes, like if they don't stop, just like text me. I have my handy dandy phone here, and I still have the times that I was contracting, because I was like, every time it started I had a contraction, I wrote down the time. Actually, they're on my old phone, but anyways, they were probably about every 3 to 7 minutes. Like it was just like kind of like, and they weren't that painful. But then, so I was just like texting Andrew, keeping him updated. Around 11:30, I think, I was like, okay, these aren't stopping. I was like, Andrew, please come home. Like we may have to go to the hospital because my contractions just won't stop. He came home, and then I started to feel it in my back, and I was like, okay, this isn't normal, but it wasn't painful. So I called the hospital, and they told me to lay on my left side, drink water, and wait, basically like do that for an hour, and like if nothing changes, call them back. So an hour passes by and nothing has changed. It's still not painful, but they're still like 3 to 7 minutes apart, and I'm still feeling it in my back, and that just wasn't normal. And I knew that I would have back labor because when I have my period, I get back cramps, and I heard like if you have back cramps, you usually get back labor. So I was like, okay, this is kind of concerning. And she was like, in a different nurse, I called back and a different nurse answered, and she was like, okay, the other nurse is helping like a lady right now, so I'm pretty sure she's just gonna tell you to come in. And so I was like, okay. Since my labor wasn't painful, like I was having no pain, um like it was just tightness that I was feeling, not really like painful. I didn't take my bag, we didn't take the diaper bag, we didn't take anything for Andrew. All we took was like our phone and like my purse. Like I didn't take any of the stuff that I had prepared. We didn't take his car seat, we didn't take anything. So at this time we were living with my mom because we had just moved back from Colorado. And so we went upstairs and we were like, okay, like we're going to the hospital. I'm just like, my contractions are not stopping. We'll call you like with what happens. We get in the car and we drive there. Keep in mind, I'm only 35 weeks along. Like my contractions are not hurting at all. I thought that maybe I would be like a 1 or a 2 dilated because I haven't even been checked by the doctor yet. My next appointment, that was, I think it was a couple days after I was feeling all this, was when she was supposed to start checking me because it was like the last 5 weeks and she just wanted to check me. So I get to the hospital, I like check in, I go to triage, and then like I change, I pee my cup, I do all that, and then I go into the like a tiny room, like where they, not like your permanent room, just like a small room. I think that's what triage is, just like checks you in, they check you, and then they put you in your permanent room. So I went to that, and they hooked me up to everything. They started like asking me questions, just like normal doctor questions, and then she started asking about my contractions, and I was like, they're this far apart and I feel tightness in my belly, but it's not painful. So once I was having one, I was like, okay, this is like what it's feeling like. I'm having one. And she was like, oh, like these aren't even strong, like we'll just probably check you and get you out of here. I was happy that I came because I was super nervous because I mean, it was my first time. It's my first time being pregnant. Like I just didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't know it was normal, especially because I had a not so normal pregnancy. But after she looked at the thing, she was like, okay, I'll check you. So she checked me and she was like, down there for a while, which is honestly, like, if you've ever been checked before, like, and you're pregnant and you know what I'm talking about, it's the most awkward thing. Like, I try to not make it awkward because it is just a normal thing, but at the same time, it's still kind of awkward, especially like when Andrew's sitting right next to me and she's just like, up my vag. She was kind of there for a while and she was like, and it was so uncomfortable, you guys. It was like, kind of makes me want to throw up thinking about it. You can probably hear my dog and I'm really sorry. So she was like, okay, you're dilated to a 6. I was like, okay. She was like, I'm just gonna have another nurse come in and check to make sure that I'm like doing everything right. Like she just wanted to make sure, and I think it's because my contractions weren't strong. Like it was just like basically no sign of me being in labor. That's when the craziness started. The next nurse comes in and she checks me and she was like, oh, and she was in there for a while too, you guys. It was not fun. And she was like, oh yeah, you're dilated to a 6. And she was like, I can't tell if I'm feeling his head or his butt. That's why she was in there for so long. Like they both were, they just couldn't tell if it was his head or his butt. So I was like, okay, what does this mean? Okay, actually I wasn't saying that. Me and Andrew were like really silent. Like Andrew didn't talk at all. We just did not expect it to be like this. Like the whole pregnancy, we didn't expect it to be like this at all. It kind of threw all plans out the window. So we go, or they leave and come back and she's like, okay, well, we're going to prep you for a C-section. And I was like, right now? Like I was basically like, am I really having the baby right now? And she was like, your doctor is not on call. Like, and I was, it's not that big of a deal to me that I don't have my exact doctor giving me a C-section because Clearly, they all know what they're doing. If they didn't, they wouldn't be in the positions that they are. And I've never heard anything bad about any doctor, ever. Like, not ever, but like in my area, I haven't heard anything about any bad OBGYN or anything like that. But my doctor had just like been awake for like 48 hours basically, and so they were like, there's no way, like she's just too tired. And I was like, that's okay, like I don't want a doctor who's tired to be doing my C-section. So I had a different doctor, and it was a lady or whatever. And you guys, this whole time I'm in shock. I was just like, I cannot believe I'm having this baby right now. Andrew and I were actually supposed to be on, I was supposed to be at a bachelorette trip that's like 3 hours away. I think three is like Lake of the Ozarks. I was supposed to be there, and Andrew was supposed to be there also. Like, we were supposed to be out of town this weekend, and I was just like, it's too close to my due date. I don't want to leave town. Who knows what's gonna happen? And Andrew debated for a while if he wanted to leave, and I was just like, finally, like, just don't leave, just in case. Like, so I'm thinking like that my body knew, and it was telling my brain, because we didn't go. Back to the story. I go in, or the lady comes in, the doctor, and she's like giving me a ultrasound because she wants to see if he's breech or if he's head down. Odin had been breached the whole time, so I mean, I just knew. I was like, he's breached. Like, there's no way. He completely turned in like the matter of a week. I mean, okay, there is a way, like it's possible, but I feel like I would have felt it, because there's so little amount of amniotic fluid. I would have just noticed if he flipped completely. And he was basically like a taco inside me, so I just knew it was going to be hard, and they had said like he's probably going to be breech. So long story short, he was breech. So she was like, okay, because if he wasn't, I was just going to deliver vaginally, even though that terrified me. Honestly, that terrified me more than having a C-section. Like, okay, C-section. And she was like, okay, we're going to prep you and get you ready for this C-section. And I was like, okay. I don't even know what facial expression I was making. I was terrified. So after they said that, I called my mom, and I was like, I'm dilated to a 6. I'm about to have a C-section. Kind of just get here. So we live like maybe 5 to 7 minutes away from the hospital. So she hurried there. She brought our bags and everything. During this time, Andrew was putting on his little scrub things, and I was just kind of sitting there. They ended up, I'm not sure. I don't remember if I stayed in the same bed or if I got in it. I think I got in a wheelchair. That's what I did. I got in a wheelchair, and they were like wheeling me down. And it was really scary, honestly. When I'm nervous, I ask a lot of questions. Like, if I don't know what's going on, like, I need to know. I'm not like a big planner, to be honest. I'm completely disorganized, but like something that is out of the blue like that, like having surgery, I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Like, where are we gonna go? And our nurses were awesome, and like told us everything, like what we were gonna, like the nurses and the doctors, they were like what we were gonna do, yada yada yada. The anesthesiologist did come in and talk to me before I got wheeled out. So I was wheeled out, and I mean, before I had to like sign this paperwork about like dying and stuff, I think, honestly, I don't even know what I signed. I was basically just like, I just want my son to be safe, get him out of me, like do everything you can, like to keep him alive, basically. Not that he was in any danger, but it was scary. Like, I was 35 weeks long and 6 centimeters dilated. Like, I'm pretty, and at fully faced, like he could have like just slipped right out of me or tried to. So it was kind of a scary thing, especially because I didn't know. Like, I'm so glad I called the hospital, because I just didn't know. Like, I wasn't sure, and I just had that motherly instinct, I guess. So after I got wheeled back there, they had Andrew like stay out of the room and I went in, and which really sucks. I had to get my epidural, and I didn't like that I had to get it without Odin. They just have him stand up because it's a sterile environment. And then they have them come in after they're like prepped and ready. I think them just like getting ready, they just need like everything to be sterile. So that was really scary. An epidural, oh, it was so uncomfortable, but it wasn't like, it went fast. It wasn't as bad as I thought, but it definitely hurt. Like, it really hurt. But it just didn't like last as long, and like I was numb. Like oh, they set up the curtain. After they set up the curtain, Andrew came in. You guys, I wasn't making any emotions. I wasn't smiling. I wasn't crying. I was just there, I think. Like, and then she was like, okay, we're about to start. And she, honestly, this is making me kind of nauseous talking about this. She was like, okay, we're gonna start. And she cut me open, and I could feel like them like moving my body around, like moving my organs out of the way, basically. And then I remember her saying like, okay, we're about to pop the, like, break your water, and I felt like like a gush. The next thing I know, like, basically Odin is out into the world, and they were like, he's a little boy, which I already knew. And they said he was really cute, but to be honest, he looked really weird. When he came out the first time, he was like purple, which it was like a different color. Not really like, he was just a different color. He was just inside my body and just welcomed into the world. So he was a different color. And they took him over immediately to like the little bed. And Andrew, when I was like, go make sure he's okay. Like, I just didn't even want Andrew to be with me. I wanted him to be with Odin. He went over there, and this is what he said he saw. So I'm basically cut open, and you can see that. But then, like, I guess Odin's mouth was open when he came out of me, so blood, and like my blood, and I think like fluid, or I don't know really, mostly my blood like got in his tummy. So they were basically like pumping his stomach, like, and I had to stick something down his throat and like pump it out, and he couldn't watch that. So Andrew either had to watch me having my organs everywhere or watch Odin getting his stomach pumped, and he chose me because he couldn't watch Odin like go through that. And Odin was then wheeled over to me. Like, they showed me Odin, but I wasn't able to hold him yet, which really sucks. Like, I wanted Andrew to be able to hold him, and just we weren't allowed to because he was so early. He was literally a week too early. Like, if he was 36 weeks, he wouldn't have had to go into the NICU. So that really sucked. They wheeled him over to me in his little incubator, and I saw him leave, which was really sad. And I still just had no emotion, you guys. This happened within, we got to the hospital at 12. Oh, it wasn't even midnight. It was like 1 or something. We got to the hotel, or the hospital. Was I saying hotel? I don't know. We got to the hospital, and Oda was born at 2:10. Like, my C-section lasted like 30 minutes. It was really fast. They ended up saying it was the quickest one they ever did. So I just didn't have emotion. I was still in shock that I was even having a baby right now. But Andrew went down in the NICU with him, like, watched them do everything. And then they were like putting me back together, which is the only way I can explain it. They were like putting me back together, and I could feel them like tugging. Oh my god, that was the worst part of it. It wasn't even them cutting me open, taking them out. It was like trying to get all my organs like back together. Was not back together, but like in like the right spot. Was basically the worst part ever. After they do all that, I get wheeled to the recovery room, and I kind of just have to sit there, and I have to be able to, they said I had to be able to walk before I was able to go down there and see him. They wanted stuff to wear off, because I literally saw him for maybe a minute, and then I had to wait like hours before I could go see him, and it really sucks. And if you ever have had a baby in the NICU, like, you understand, like, it is the worst, no matter if they're there for a day or they're there for months. Like, it is the worst feeling. Finally, Andrew came up, and he was like, they're just working on him. I wanted to come check on you, make sure you're okay. And he wanted to wait with me so that I could go down there with him and see Odin. So we went down there finally, like, and having the thing. Oh, by the way, my mom came and my friend Lindsay came to the hospital. All my other friends were in the lake of the Ozarks. And I texted them like right before I went in surgery. I was like, just so you know, like, Odin's about to be born. I went down to the NICU with Andrew and myself, and they didn't make me get up. Like, I just really wanted to see him, and they ended up just rolling my bed in there. The NICU at our hospital is so freaking nice. Like, it's not, when I picture a NICU, I picture one huge room, and like, we don't get our, in like beds of babies just next to each other. Here at our hospital, each baby gets their own room. So the parents are able to stay like 24/7. They're able to have visitors, and it was just a really good experience. Like, it wasn't a good thing that he was there. Like, that wasn't good, but the experience that we were given by the nurses and everything was really awesome. But anyways, that's a different story. We went down to the NICU, and I saw him for the first time, you guys, and it was, or like the second time, but it felt like the first time, but I couldn't hold him, which really sucked. I had to wait like till that night. So this is like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had to wait till like 8 o'clock at night to hold my freaking baby, and it sucked. We got to finally hold him, and it was freaking awesome, and he is the best baby ever. And I really feel like this was just yesterday, and now he's like a year old, and it's so crazy, and it makes me want to cry. But yeah, it was like the best, scariest experience of my life, but it was awesome. And Odin ended up staying in the NICU for 2 weeks, and I was only able to stay in the hospital for 3 days. So I think I might make another video about that. What, my camera stopped recording because I was recording too long, but I think we might make a video about, I don't know if Andrew will be in it, like just about our NICU experience. It was hard for me. Like, it's hard not to be able to bring your baby home with you. I had like the most not the worst pregnancy, but a different kind of pregnancy for my first pregnancy. Like, I had low amniotic fluid, I had all these ultrasounds. He was born 5 weeks early. He was in the NICU for 2 weeks, and it was hard. Like, it was hard, you guys. Like, it was hard. And only Andrew can really, and other parents too, that have experienced what we've experienced, can really understand like what we went through and why it was so hard for us. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience, and honestly, I would do it all over again to have Odin. Like, I really would. So that is all for my labor and delivery story. It was so crazy. I hope I got all the information. It was a year and a half ago, but it was the craziest thing that still to this day, like, it kind of feels like yesterday. So I remember a lot of the details. Comment down below and let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any other video ideas that you want me to do, because I love making videos and I'm so excited to be doing more. Yeah, so this was a good story time. It was kind of nice to like think back on that day, just because that was the day Odin was born, July 12th. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!